All right, we're going to begin our meeting. It's Town of Sangerville Board of Selectmen Roadwork Emergency Workshop, July 27, 2018, and it's about 2 minutes of 9 in the morning. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you guys for coming in.
Go ahead.
Sorry. We're basically looking for some help with the road commissioner position. We're just kind of exploring ideas and possibilities, and your name came up because we're under the impression that that's what you do for Parkman.
It is, yeah. That is what I do.
It must be working pretty well, or what's your impression?
It must be working pretty well, yes. Yeah, we haven't had too many complaints, and it's been going pretty good.
How long have you been the road commissioner in Parkman?
4 years, 5 years, 4 or 5 years.
And you live in Parkman?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the amount of mileage of road, do you know how much?
32.
32.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty darn close.
Really? I would have guessed you guys had a lot more than that.
I thought we were closer to 40, but
Yeah, I think we're
How many roads?
16,
What's
16 or
mileage
15.
of road?
We have 45 miles
Oh.
roughly,
Yeah.
but it's not all state, all town.
Right.
Oh, so
23 in Pleasant Ave, our state.
Right, that's, so I mean, we're,
So it's about 38.
Okay, so it's very similar.
And the back over road must be state aid.
yeah, not state.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so maybe even less than that, so
Yeah, I think
maybe
it's
32.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
there
it's
you
like
go.
15 and 16.
do you know the ratio of gravel to pavement that you?
Ours is about half,
Yeah,
honestly. It's pretty close.
yeah. So pretty similar communities.
Is
Do you do the plowing?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and you know C&W has been doing ours for quite a while.
Yep.
So,
And do you use your own vehicles for that?
Yes,
You do.
yes.
So Parkman does not have a public
No, it
works?
does not.
And has never?
Has never.
Okay, so they don't have any equipment?
No.
Don't even have a garage?
The only thing they have is a rock rake.
I guess if I was gonna pick one item, I might pick that one.
Yep.
So for me, how does it work with Parkman? I mean, between the budgetary process and who picks out what are the hot topics that need to be done, how does that all work with
We have-
you and them?
We have a road committee that gets voted in every year. I believe it's 12 or 16 people.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Wow.
And then the selectmen.
Tell me just quit.
I'm going.
Can't get along like 4, 5, 6.
Right. Well, they all never show up. It's usually just 4 or 5.
It's voted in by the legislative body or the select board
It's
assigns it?
town meeting.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
Town meeting. Every town meeting, they get voted in, and then we meet with them at the beginning of every year, and
Do
I
they,
make suggestions of what I think needs to be done, and they, we talk it over, and the big things, all goes through the selectmen, and
Right, but if they're elected, if it's an elected body, they really pick the direction, they would trump the selectmen.
I know the selectmen.
They have the final say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting dynamic though.
yeah.
So I mean, but do you keep, for yourself, do you keep an inventory of the road? So I mean, you know this section where your culverts you've done, or does that fall back to the town that keeps track of that?
I've been there so long that
You
I
just
just
know.
know where everything is.
Sure. But I mean, the town relies on, what I'm saying though, the town relies on you for that.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Whoever's in the road commissioner position.
Right. And they kind of rely on you to say, this is really what we need to focus on this year, or?
Well, yeah, I suggest it. I mean, everybody has
An
their
opinion.
ideas what needs to be done.
Yep. Correct.
So, I mean, yeah, well, that's what, we have the meeting, and pretty much just, when I leave that meeting, I know pretty much the big things that need to be done. I mean, to fill in between, I see something wrong with the road, I fix it.
Okay, thanks. So like if you have a big rainstorm or a windstorm, do you go out and just check, make sure there are no trees down and
Oh, yeah.
washouts, yeah?
Yeah, we had some trees down yesterday.
Yeah. And then you just do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take care of it.
Interesting. And so when your town manager gets a call, they call you first, they don't call the committee?
Yeah, they call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to listen to all of it.
So the citizens department call you? If they know
No,
you,
they'll call
town
the town office usually, yeah.
Okay, and then the town
they
office.
relay it to me, yes.
Do you employ other contractors as well for certain
Yeah.
tasks?
Yep, if need be.
And that's your job, you liaison with them and?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
What's the bidding process, or policy in
we
parking?
don't have no,
So you can spend whatever money you think you need to spend?
yes.
Interesting. We have at $10,000, we're supposed to bid it,
Yeah,
but it's not, it's really a price quote.
Right.
It's our own policy.
right.
If you think it's gonna get 10,000.
Yeah,
Is the key part of that.
on a day-to-day basis, whatever needs to be done can be done.
Right. The only thing that we do is we only pay state rate. The state has a rate they set everything at, and that's what it's usually way under what it should be, but that's what we go on.
So you mean when you employ a contractor,
Yeah,
you're
even
only gonna
myself,
pay them state rate?
myself or anybody, we all get state rate and they don't pay no more.
So there's no arguing, it's like, this
No,
is, the price is the
that's right.
price.
This is what you're getting. and
Do you have trouble getting guys to do the work?
Yes.
Aha,
There's a guy right in town here that won't work for state rate. And it's really not that bad, I don't think, but people think it is.
so, Seth, do you keep track of your hours? I mean, do you, and not getting into what you get paid and everything else, but, I mean, do you have a stipend?
I make
or-
these out every week.
Okay, so you have
Says
like
what
a
I do.
timesheet?
Yeah, kinda, it's not really a timesheet, it just explains what I did, where I did it,
And the
and
hours?
the hours, yeah,
And then you get paid hourly state rate?
yes,
Based on what equipment you use in addition to your time?
yes.
Yes, cause like if you're running your dump truck, you're getting a different rate if you're running a
Exactly,
bulldozer, or if you're
exactly,
running an
right.
excavator, or
Right. The
a
state-
combination, it's
Right.
keep stacking, yeah.
Yeah, the list is extensive of
Yep.
the state thing.
Yep.
Oh, so
We
it's
just go by
all
that.
state?
Yeah,
So there's no
So
question?
you jump in one piece of
Different
equipment,
size
it's
excavators,
different
a
than the other
different
piece
rate,
of
different
equipment.
size dump trucks, a different
But
rate,
yes,
But it's,
it's state rate.
there's no question of what it is,
right.
right?
No, and
Yeah,
we've
you
run
can
into
find that list online.
Right.
Yes, you
We've
can.
had that issue last year, I mean, we did have contractors or a year that wasn't state rate. Remember, there was a thing with one of the ones that we was using, that he was above on one and below on the other.
Oh. Huh.
Is there anything that you can't do? I mean, you have an excavator, so you do ditching. I know you grade for us.
Yeah,
You must install culverts and
yeah,
all that.
yeah,
What about coal patching?
we do all that too,
You do that too?
yeah.
So you have a crew?
I got a few guys, yeah.
Yep.
Yep,
So you put a bill in as a contractor versus as an employee of the town?
yes,
Okay, so 1099
yep.
miscellaneous.
It's his issue, not the
Right.
town's.
Exactly,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep.
He's got the insurance and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it's a public record department, but what did you bill the town last year?
I don't know,
Didn't know.
honestly, I don't know, I don't keep track.
Is it
I'm sure
a
you can find it.
full-time job for you? The town Parkman?
No, not really, I mean, it takes up a lot of my time, but it's not full-time, no.
So then you do contracting other?
Absolutely.
I see. Okay.
Could you do two towns?
Yeah, with the help of other contractors.
Yeah, you'd have to start,
I certainly.
you couldn't do it all yourself.
No
yeah,
way,
yeah.
no.
But do you think you can oversee it and schedule the contractor? You know what I mean?
Right.
Can you do your role that you're doing in Parkman,
Yeah.
do the similar thing for us, but you know your schedule, you know this needs to be
Right.
done, you're gonna be able to find a contractor to do that.
Right,
That's my concern.
right,
On this $10,000 deal, you can do just like Dexter did. You can take a certain project, when you get $10,000 and you go to a different project. So
Well,
you don't,
There's a lot of things, that hasn't been updated in a long time. That's just a policy.
yeah, but I mean, this
I'd
is
like to know
how
when that
Dexter
was-
gets
when was that
around it.
11.
instituted? That was done in 11?
11. We
Oh,
could
when
sit
we're-
down with the road committee, we could sit down with the road commissioner, and we could rework that policy and say, you know, it's time to update it, let's go to 25,000. And that's, and
Yeah, I mean-
if we had a motion and a vote, it would be 25,000, that's all it takes, so.
But how Dexter gets around it, they'll go do so much of the project, when they get up close to 10,000, they'll go off for a couple of weeks, and then the same contractor will come back.
Well, I mean,
Go
it's-
again.
And then we get the phone
the
call.
biggest thing is it doesn't say whether it's a project, it just says if you're doing something. So, I
Right,
mean,
you're just ditching, prepping the road, that's
Correct.
all, so
Yes.
but they
Yeah.
break it into two
Parts.
different billings.
Right.
Right.
Because honestly, the way I'm thinking it, if we're going to state rate and we're using reputable contractors that all take about the same time to do the same thing, what are you gonna bid?
Yeah,
Right.
You're
Yeah.
paying state rate, you've already
Exactly.
established.
Only thing you'll be bidding will be paving. This pipeman
Yes, we did.
bid out the
Yeah.
paving, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks, even in this town, I'm sure other towns, there's this impression that municipalities are required under state statute to bid work, like the state and the federal government does. We're not.
Right.
And once you can kind of wrap your mind around that, it changes the whole process.
Yeah.
The only obstacles to getting work done, in the sense of bidding, are obstacles that you create for yourself. If you have a policy that says you have to bid everything over 1,000, then that's your policy.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it's not required by the state, so you can adapt and
Right.
make it fit, or you could drop the policy altogether. I don't think we would do that, but
Yeah.
we certainly could tweak it.
But really, it shouldn't be called bid either, really.
No, it shouldn't
You're
be.
price shopping is what you're doing,
Yep.
because
Right.
it's not a bidding, it's not a
Right.
government bid, you're required to see if you can get a better deal.
I liken it to your own personal work. If I had a project on my own property, I might call 3 contractors to get a price quote.
Right.
And I might not pick the cheapest one, I might pick the one, gee, he impressed me, I'm gonna go with
Right,
it.
right.
The town can operate exactly the same way.
Yep.
And a lot of folks aren't aware of that, so I think sometimes we get criticism just because people don't know the rules.
They might be aware of it, but they don't believe it.
Yeah,
Right.
that also,
Yeah,
We run that anyway.
that's a whole other story. but-
yeah.
But I mean, for
Well,
you
every
as,
day.
you as the road commissioner, you as a contractor up in Parkman, you utilize other contractors.
Oh, yeah.
You must know that if I call this guy, he's really good at ditching, and he's
That's
gonna
right.
use me, he can get more done a day ditching than this guy.
Yep.
So you tend to do this,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And that's another thing we've run into, even in the brief time we've been doing this. If you start this quote-unquote bid process, and someone comes in a few dollars cheaper, you may know that this guy isn't reliable. But you can't say that on, in a meeting, and then you don't pick him, and why, he was cheaper, and it's just, it's a thorny thing,
Yes.
so. But anyway, we're trying to clean that up.
Right.
Our road committee is appointed by the select board, and it's relatively small. And they advise us, and the commissioner typically works with them. And I'd like to see us kind of evolve to where we had a plan that we were presenting at town meeting. So when we got to town meeting, our goal is to pave this road, this amount,
Right.
ditch here, these culverts, and we think it's gonna cost $280,000. And then, at least for the last few years, we basically say, we would like a bucket of money and we promise we're gonna do road work. And they raised their hand. But I think if we could give them a better picture of what they're gonna get,
Yep.
it'd probably be,
Yeah, it helps.
yeah.
Well, to me now, the way we're doing it, I mean, I've been doing this enough between budget and everything else that I understand how that breakdown is. But we put money in road improvement, we put, it's in different buckets. And not everybody understands what those buckets are supposed to be used for.
Right.
So I get a phone call, well, you didn't spend all that money, that's what that money was for. No, that's not exactly what that money is for. And we don't have a line item budget number 1 to begin with, so, I mean, we split it up into categories, but that all can get
Right.
wherever you need it.
But at the end of the year, 2 years in a row, we had $30,000 left in the road budget that could have been spent.
Oh, yeah.
Prudent
More.
Which should have been spent, because you ain't gonna get it once you,
That's
Right,
the
right.
budget system,
I
once
think
you
it was
go.
60 or 70,000.
I was
That was
thinking it was
left.
like 50 or 60, it was up
Yeah,
there,
it
it was a
was-
lot more than 30.
Was it?
Yeah, it was almost
And I
a
mean,
third.
I thought 30 was bad
Try
enough.
to get rid of all we can.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like right now, we're trying to, honestly, we're in hopes that we can get it burned off really quick, because we would like to do some more paving.
Right.
So we wouldn't mind going back to the town and asking for more money. But on the other side of it is we all feel we really need to get down before we ask for that more money.
Right.
Are you guys paving this year?
I don't think so, I don't think it's in the budget, but there's one piece I've got the guys bidding on right now, so
Yeah.
we'll see if we got money enough, but.
What is the budget there?
Well, normally it's 104,000, but this last couple of years we get money from the windmills.
Oh,
Across the land, and that's helped significantly. This year we had 180,000.
it's like having an oil well.
Ooh.
Yeah,
What,
Neat.
are those windmills in Parkman?
no,
Lines
Oh.
can-
but the lines go through Blackman.
Whoa,
Yeah.
180.
I didn't realize, like I told you, I come the back way through from Abbott into Parkman. I didn't realize those, you wanna ride through there and see those power lines they put
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So they're huge transmission lines?
Yeah.
Overhead?
Yeah,
For all that green
they're
energy.
way
Yeah,
above,
that's right, yeah.
way above every,
All that
they're a
green energy that we
laminated
don't even see.
pole. It's impressive, I was kinda, you would think that
Wow.
a power line to me, that heavy transmission lines all run straight,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
No?
It's
They're
like
all
this
over
side,
the-
they're on this side of the road for a ways, then they go to the other side, then they go to the other side, and it's, it
And
was
they're right
unique.
over the lines that are already there.
Oh yeah, they're
Wow,
up
yeah, that's
there, I
what you said,
mean,
they're
it's,
higher.
it's a neat ride
Wow.
up through there.
So they pay you a lease for the land or the lease for the?
They're gonna pay us 20 grand a year for, I can't remember if it was 10 years. I believe it was 10 years.
Is that first
Thanks for
win?
sure.
Don't
Thanks for
they
sure,
have to
but it's
pay-
funny.
I think they went out of business.
Oh,
I
oh.
think
Is
20
they
years?
paid
That was-
20 years.
that
It
was
might
Cajun,
be, yeah, I
yeah.
can't, I honestly can't remember, but.
Because before you guys accepted that deal,
Mhm.
we had they had the big, transformer coming out of Mexico, and I cleared the substation for them.
Yeah,
And you hadn't even accepted the deal.
yeah, oh yeah,
Where are
The
those
same way with
windmills?
Abbott.
yeah.
Like, far away, right?
Oh no.
Where are they?
Oh, you can see them.
I know you can see them, but where are they?
On 16,
Yeah, you can go through Kings.
Up Mayfield, Benham.
Oh,
all the way across
okay,
16,
okay.
you'll hit them. It's a blast on the snowmobile, you can sit right underneath them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can drive right through.
Massive,
Yeah, you
aren't
can
they?
drive right to them in your car,
Yeah.
Whoa.
literally your car.
yeah, oh yeah. Nice
Huh.
roads up there, really.
Now, are them poles, are they laminated wood?
Yep.
I believe
The
so.
pole, the ones, I noticed that.
Yeah, over
Yeah, they're like 2x.
in Blackman.
Laminated
Wow.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's all there.
I have a question, Seth, as far as like dynamics of contractors in Parkman, you know, you seem to have the body of the work, you're the road commissioner and you have
Right.
the body of the work. How do you deal with the, other contractors saying, well, Seth gets all the work, so, how does, I mean, do you have,
I honestly don't have that issue.
you don't?
No, I haven't, not that I know of, not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm,
No, I just try to deal with the local, as local as I can get. That's-
right,
If there's somebody right close, I'm gonna use them. I'm not gonna use somebody from 2 towns over. If I
right.
can use somebody right in my home, or the next one, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But you don't have any other, or do you have any other contractors that are vying for that road commissioner job each
I don't,
year?
no,
No?
no.
The
Last
board
year-
appoints you
last
or
year-
the town?
Town,
Yeah.
town meeting, yeah, every year.
Now, do you get a
Oh, 3 years.
stipend for
No.
being road commissioner? No, so
Okay.
that comes with the territory of that,
Right.
that's interesting.
We've exhausted all contractors, they've had that job on.
That's right.
I mean, Stevie Northrup had it one time,
Mhm.
Bennett had it, because he passed away,
Mhm.
Seth got it. And you're about the only one around that's in Packman that's qualified, right?
Yeah, actually.
So it's a system that towns
Yeah.
used for a long time.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And as a general rule, contractors all get along, we don't cut each other's throat.
Right, we try.
If somebody cuts your throat, they're in trouble.
Right.
With all of us.
Right, you
You
need
know,
it.
Seth and I might bid on a job, and the contractor, the person might come to me and say, look, Seth bid this much, can you do it cheaper?
Mm-hmm.
I say, yeah. I don't want to talk to you,
Uh-huh, yeah,
because, that ain't fair.
right.
But, and sometimes, I bid against Drummond before, up Spec Shores, and I've tried to bid higher than Drummond. And sometimes I have, and he's got the job, sometimes he'd overbid me, and I
Stuck you with the
I got the job. He comes to me and says, you stinker, you underbid me a little.
You stuck me with that
Oh,
job.
that's great, that's so funny, that's so funny.
So Tommy, my question's for you, being, cause you're kind of wearing a double hat. You are a contractor and you're also been a resident of the town and seen how with our own public works, everything that's happened over the years, what do you think of the idea?
And you're on the road committee.
Right.
Yeah,
What do you think
yeah.
of the idea of going to, I mean, this is brand new, we've never done this before. What do you think?
Now, I gotta ask you a question before I answer mine. You ain't opened the door for a conflict of interest on me, are you?
Nope, there is no conflict of interest.
No.
I want your, I really, I mean, I value your opinion, but I wanna know what you.
Honestly, I think it'll work good. If I was younger, I would have taken the position myself. And it's a lot of BS goes with it.
There is a lot of BS with it.
And I just can't handle the baloney, but I can help Seth. And if anyone comes to me and bitches, I just say, there's the boss right there. You know?
I'm used to it, believe me.
Right. Oh yeah, we all are.
Well, it's funny, he was joking about this conflict of interest, but we've got people in this town who are convinced that it's a violation of state law to have a committee member even do work. I mean, that's how
Yeah.
contentious some people can be. And we know that that's not true, but
Right.
man, they'll
Yeah.
argue with you to the blue in the face.
Yeah, but in Parkman, it would be a conflict of interest. The way the road committee is formed in Parkman, it would be a conflict of interest.
Because
We're
they're
just an
elected.
advisory committee in
Right.
this town.
Right, right,
So we got no power whatsoever.
right.
Correct.
You can't spend money.
No. And, you don't
But
necessarily have
isn't,
to go
even
with that
though the Parkman's
suggestion.
elected, isn't that still advisory? Cause the board of selectmen still have final say.
That is correct.
So even in Parkman, there's still an
I bet
advisory.
you they could do the work.
That's pretty much all the road committee is.
Yeah, I mean, the road committee can't call you up and say, hey, I want you to go do this.
No.
So
Are-
then
If they did, I usually will go do it anyway, but
Right.
it's usually something simple and if
Right.
it keeps everybody happy, like,
Right.
let's just do it.
Are there any other contractors that are on your road committee that end up doing work?
No.
No, they're all just, they're not,
Well, yeah, one does the mowing for us, but,
so there you
There
go.
you go.
There you go.
yeah, one does the.
What they couldn't do as a committee is decide who the committee is gonna hire, just like our committee couldn't do that.
Right.
I can recommend.
Yep, or gee,
But you can't
what about this
officially-
guy? It would be up to the board or in
Right.
the case, the road commissioner.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think, personally, I think it would work good. You could have a leader. We've had workers before and nobody leading them, just like chickens in the middle of the road. The bottom of it is, they don't get nothing done. Or what they do ain't right, so.
So, what about within the community? You've been here forever. What do you think the reaction is gonna be in just the general public if we make this switch?
If they can see the results, they'll be happy. I've sat in about every town meeting they've had there, and we have spent a lot of money over and above the budget on winter roads and stuff. And as long as the roads are maintained decent, not a squabble. But if you saved them $10,000 and you didn't take care of them roads, they ate you right up and spit you out. So long as the public can see. Now, the 2 years that Irvin and I did the roads and stuff, we had no trouble with the landowners, we had no trouble with the people. Everyone come by, waved, happy, took it right down.
Now, was there also a public works? When, the 2 years that you're talking
There
about?
was a public
There
work.
was a public works. Now, are you talking about plowing?
No, this is building the roads.
Oh, building roads, okay,
We-
okay, okay.
We built, we gravelled Jaw Road, a section of that. We did a section of the Burrows
Oh,
Road, we
yeah,
did
yeah.
some of the Line Road, we did
Ah,
all
yeah.
the Brockway Mills Road. Ditch and culverts and everything, and we did, the Anderson Road. And, everybody was happy. They didn't, no problem cutting trees. They're tickled to death to have us cut a tree. One was out of the road limit, leaning towards the road, take it, don't worry about it. We had a humongous stump that just about fit in this room. The landowner let us shove it up off the edge of the road and
Do you cut brush in Parkland or do you hire that out?
We try to hire it out, but the town is pretty set on wanting Charleston to come do it.
Oh,
And they're booked like 2 years.
Yeah, it's not
It's
really
just
viable.
not even-
Yeah.
What brush cutting we do, yeah, we do it ourselves.
I'm noticing when I travel to Bangor, the back, through, Levant and Exeter and, even Garland now, there's a lot of them are spraying.
Yeah.
So they're not cutting every year.
Yeah,
And I don't know anybody who's licensed to do that yet, but that looks like the direction a lot of them are going.
yeah,
Cause I noticed the brush that we cut 2 years ago is now up to your chest again.
oh yeah, it don't take.
It's just kind of a waste of time.
Yeah.
You cut one and 3 grow out.
That's
Exactly.
right,
This
that's
turns
right.
into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This spraying's history though, the state ain't even spraying.
Well, you go up and down 95, it's all
23
sprayed.
yesterday.
Huh?
Well, they sprayed 23 last year.
Did they?
Yeah.
They haven't sprayed my road for years, that's a state road.
They sprayed by my house just a couple weeks ago.
Did they?
Yep.
You go down 95, you'll see them, all those little shrubs are all dead, they're hitting them all.
Yeah.
That's the cheapest way to
Oh, by
control
far.
the bushes. And they control spray.
Yep.
They spray the bushes.
Literally one spot, you're exactly right.
Yeah, I know when I watched them when they did 23, it was almost like a ton truck with a tank, and there was a guy on the back with like a deluge gun. Literally, you know, I mean, he didn't spray, there was a bunch of bushes, he hit
right.
that, didn't
Yep.
spray, went to the next section.
Huh,
He didn't just
huh,
spray
huh.
that whole road.
Oh, they don't broadcast it?
No.
No, it's pretty pinpoint.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it is.
And they can reach out there with that thing and they can touch it. It's
Yeah.
not like
And you're not doing it again for several years.
Yeah, right.
But we need, that's not something everybody can do. You gotta
Right.
be licensed to do it.
CMP did Silver's Mills 2 or 3 years ago. It's a clear line when you drive
Oh,
down
yeah,
through there.
I
You
know.
can
I
tell
mean,
where they
CMP.
sprayed.
Yeah, you can tell where they hit it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
gonna cost us thousands of dollars to get to that point. Cause we've let it go so long.
That's, yeah, well, that's what's aggravating. It's like-
Where our ditches should be is trees now, big trees.
Right.
Yep,
And then you got full of
And,
stumps now.
You jeopardize your road, well, you'll see it on the Silver Mills Road.
we got road shoulders out of that.
Right,
Yeah,
it ain't gonna hold your pavement.
yep.
Yeah.
Any of the ditching we've been doing, we've been taking every 33 feet of it, whether there's trees this big or not,
Yep, get them back.
open them up. Some
You got
people
any,
don't
uh,
like it, but,
more questions for us? I mean, what are your thoughts?
yeah.
What are your concerns?
Well, I would wanna see road map or something, I'd like to go look at your roads, really. And then I think we'll go from there.
I have a list of stuff too, which came in yesterday, and we have some areas that would be higher on the list to do. We've got some spots down, so, East Sangerville, French's Mills, McFeeters, Gray Road, did I say Flanders Hill? So I have a list.
Couple of bridge letters.
Yeah.
A couple of
Well, I mean,
Oh, yeah, right.
we've tried in the past to pave a mile a year, is what the supposed goal has always been.
Yeah.
But the way in the past it was done was we'd pave this,
Patchwork.
this, and this to equal a mile. We all kind of agree that that's costing you money, you know, every time you have these guys move, so we've been trying to focus on you start and go and run out of money.
Right.
So that's what we've done this year.
Hey, Sangerville actually has a pretty good balance sheet. There's some inefficiencies that we've uncovered that I think is gonna help us long-term, but just in reserve, you know, we've got money that, you know, could be put into our infrastructure. I think we could catch up on some of these roads as long as if we got organized.
Right.
I think people would be surprised, like, wow, you got that much paved this year? But I think we could afford to do it. We gotta get
Yeah,
ahead.
people like to see stuff happening,
Well, you know,
Yeah.
it's
whether it's much or not, they just wanna see you doing something.
It's nice to drive home and not bang the hell out of your vehicle. It's
Yeah,
just,
break my leaf spring.
yeah, you've done this for
know.
5 years and all of a sudden it's a nice ride home. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know,
wow.
it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and I think we can get quite a bit done if we just got some momentum.
Right.
I think you get in the right direction, you're gonna have the townspeople behind you.
Well,
Right.
that's it
Once
too.
they see the progress,
Right.
they'll be willing to put more money, because everybody you talk to, the Vince roads are wicked.
Yeah, and it is the one, I mean, well, every day it reminds you. So if your
Right.
road's bad,
Oh, I know.
I pay my taxes.
Well, it's not so much putting more money, it's putting the right money, put it in the right spot. That's kinda,
And
you
getting the
know,
product for your money,
right.
Yep,
that's the big thing.
Not going back and redoing it in 2 years,
Right.
you know, spending it, keep it moving it forward,
You
that's
do
what.
it right the first time.
Yeah.
you know, you pave a road and you break that corner off the very first year because we didn't do it right, that's really aggravating.
Yes.
But we say that, but at the same token, we know, take my road for instance, we know that's just nothing but an old bus trail.
Yep.
There is no gravel on that road. For what that, to fix that right, we would never ever be able to afford to
No,
fix that.
I mean, there's no way.
So, I mean, we want to do it right, but at sometimes, like with that, we can't fix it right.
Right.
We know that, so we have to find that, what is the best that we can do with what we have to
That's
work
right.
with. And hopefully not be back there again in a few years.
Right. Yeah, we're building on roads that were built hundreds of years ago, and who knows what they put in them back then.
With all the culverts we did last year, we figured out that the center of Silver's Mills is solid rocks. And that gives you about 6 to 8 feet, and then after that, you've got nothing. So,
Old rotten stumps.
Yeah.
Big up stumps and everything in them cousin roads.
Yep.
Farmers used to haul the field rocks and dump them in the roads.
Yeah.
Right down by my trailer, there was a period of time in '36, you couldn't get across there in the spring of the year. So my dad brought a vehicle up, he ran an oil business, brought one of his trucks up, left down one end of the swamp, walked across and took his car and went home. And the farmer right there where my trailer is used to take all his field rocks down and dump them in the swamp.
Yeah.
Never been dug out, it's just been built up. So all them stumps and rocks and stuff are still in that road bed.
In the water somewhere.
Yeah.
this is Bob Littlefield always said that, like, you go in, different story, but when you go into Guilford and you go like you're gonna go to Hardwood, that whole section of road is just always super bad. That entire section of road is nothing but cordroid cedar.
Oh.
That used to be a swamp, and that's
I've
how
dug
they filled
that, I've
that.
trenched that.
Yep, it's all cedar up through.
I've even pulled old junk cars up out of the road. No kidding. Headed up the North Guilford Road before you get to school. I put that culvert in, I worked for Haley. I reached down and hauled a great big, no Model T right up out of the,
No.
right up out of the mud.
My gosh. I have a question for you, Seth. The other side of McFeeters that you did, that got as bad as this part that we have here in Sangerville. And
It
then,
was a little worse.
yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
And then did you grind it?
Yes.
You ground it up
Yeah.
and then let it sit for a year,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And did you do that on your own? Did your road committee make that decision? I mean, who sort of masterminded that was the direction you
We
were
left
going
it
with that
because
road?
we didn't have money to put into it.
Right,
Quite
right,
simply.
right.
You guys added a lot of gravel in there too, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So you ground it, you added a bunch of gravel.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually added the gravel on that one first, and then they ground it right in with what was there. This, road we're doing right now, we had it ground, and now we're putting gravel over the top of it. I think that makes a little more sense than mixing it right in with what is in the ground already.
And then do you know how much pavement you put on there, on McFeeters?
2 inches, yeah.
2 inches,
Yeah, 2-inch binder.
a 2-inch binder.
And if we ever get money ahead, we'd like to finish it, put a top on it.
We've got a lot of roads that way, we're supposed to
I know.
resurface some, we just never had the
Never
money.
had the money, yeah.
But we're spending I mean, basically, other than this year, what we're spending on paving is your roads budget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah, and we may go ask for another 100,000.
Yeah.
I know we worked together already on some pieces of road that like Goff Road and we swapped some stuff off, but have we ever worked together in trying to coordinate a project? Like, gee, we're gonna work on this end of the McFeeters Road, let's try
I
to
don't
do it.
believe so, not to my knowledge.
It'd be nice if we could for the
It
people
would.
who live over there.
Exactly.
Might make it easier if you had the same road commissioner.
That's kind of what I was driving at.
Just throwing
It
that
just
out
seems
there.
logical, I feel,
Yeah.
Does New plow the entire McFeeters into Parkman? No.
Whoever does, yes.
Oh,
Whoever plows
They
it.
That's
do
how
the
they,
whole-
they
oh.
swap.
Right.
So we plow McFeeters
I
and
see.
then you guys plow golf.
Then we
Uh-huh.
plow it off,
So
so
we-
they
I
don't
see.
have to go way
Oh,
up.
that works out well.
Yeah.
yeah, because they'd just be driving down there. doing
Yeah,
it.
that's ridiculous,
Right.
trying to turn around and, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jim Bennett coordinated that quite a few years ago, because they was having a fit about turning around up
Yeah.
there.
It's kind of the same idea as this, and we don't swap anything with Guilford, but we still plow that little piece.
Yep,
Right.
Just cause it makes sense.
Right.
Exactly, yeah, they're right there.
right.
You gonna lift your blade up?
Lift your blade up, drive across Guilford, turn
Well,
around.
he did say we could use his chipper.
Yeah, he does,
In
yeah.
exchange for
Swap.
doing.
That's good, hey,
That's,
not
That's
that
$1,000 a
rented chipper.
rental.
yeah, that's a good deal.
We should do that. We gotta get the brush together to protect, right? Well, I guess the time thing, you know, again, I know I asked you as far as how much time do you spend
Right.
per week working on, strictly on this, Parkman projects. Do you have any idea? I mean, obviously you have a timesheet, so,
Yeah. My guys will be there all the time. I mean, every day that it doesn't rain, we're working, doing something.
guys being how many?
2,
Two.
sometimes 3. Usually hire another truck in town to come help.
So any day it's not raining,
Yeah, if it's not raining, we're working.
the whole summer.
Yes.
Plus, but you guys are also doing contractual work, not just town work.
No,
Yeah, I mean, we try to squeeze it in here and there, but for the most part, we're working on roads.
So if you had 2 towns, that's basically all you would be doing, and still you'd have contractors coming in to help you.
Yeah, I would, yeah, would have to.
Yeah.
There's no way I can do it myself.
But I can also see you saying, you know what, guys, we're gonna coal patch this week, and you coal patch 2 towns,
Right.
steady.
Right?
And, you know, I could see where you could make that
Right.
actually work.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
Now, the town finishes all materials fast,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we go get it, but they pay for it.
right?
Yeah, because the towns don't pay sales tax on anything,
Right.
and it all makes sense.
Yep.
where do you get your coal patch?
Bangor,
Bangor.
down lanes.
Oh, Lanes.
It's the nearest one.
Yeah, is that what we, yeah,
That's what we
Yeah.
talked about
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's there or Lewiston or something like that.
hey,
Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
so you've worked together over the years, or not together, but in concert with each other?
Oh, yeah, his father worked for me for a couple of years. Oh, yeah. We're all friends and work together, no problem.
Is this something that you think you'd wanna do?
I would entertain trying it for a while,
Okay.
see if everybody was happy. See if I could even do it.
Yeah, it's, you know, before we decide what we think's a fit, we need to know what you think's a fit.
Well, I mean, this is a workshop. Again, this is about talking and ideas and bouncing back and forth, so.
You'd be available for any bone down trees and
Yeah, we
emergency
usually find
things like
somebody,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
I had to go do that yesterday, right after I sent the guys home.
Yeah. That's why
Whoops.
that's why I don't get involved too much now.
Yeah,
I
right.
used to have to do that. Everyone's gone home.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you just saw the pieces up a little smaller, Chuck.
I've got one of them easy stats on. I run over one with the bulldozer and I thought I'd go buy a new one. I took it, pulled the card, motor didn't turn. I said, what the heck? Pulled the card out pretty quick, the motor turned. All I was doing winding the
Oh,
string.
yeah.
Oh, good.
I
Oh,
went back down, I said, what's going on with this sissy saw? They said, that's the way they make them. I said, no, I ain't that kind of.
Yeah, you liked it, didn't
yeah.
Huh?
you? You liked it?
No, I don't.
You know?
You don't like
Cause I'm
it?
always, you know, grab the saw in one hand, start it with the other.
Right.
And you chink it a little bit, make sure it's dogged in.
Right.
Well, I did that, nothing happened.
We got a call on a Saturday, over on East Saginaw, Butchie called us, a maple tree had come down, so I called Dale and asked if he'd help me, I threw a chainsaw on the truck. So we get over there, and it's like the Lord was looking out for us, there's an old guy from Instrum's there.
Steve.
Nice.
Steve.
And, you know, so I got my chainsaw, he said, I'm sorry, I don't have a saw, I said, here. And he made short work of that thing, didn't he? We were like 2 12-year-olds dragging.
Drag brush dead.
Left hand, right hand, he was all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing how.
Reach right out there,
Oh,
hug a tree, up
oh, I
that bucket
know.
60 feet.
Oh, I
He
know.
touched that, know where the tension was, and
Whoa,
Never pinched that so.
exactly, oh, I know.
Oh, I mean,
It's
that was,
impressive.
it was like part was on the ground, part was stuck in a tree. I'd have
Yikes.
pinched that
That's-
saw. and I
Oh,
would've
yeah, I got it stuck to it.
Yeah.
yeah, I basically always take 3 saws with me so I can cut the.
A couple of wedges, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we've got to focus on more, is brush cutting. Prepping these roads so you can
That's it.
maintain them.
Well, and you're pushing back some of the, you're absolutely, some of these roads, the forest has just crept up to, I know it's a big job, but we gotta own it again.
We've never done it, but, and I don't know, I mean, we know like Ingstrom cuts trees, but, and I know there's a few of these other people around. Does any of them have crew enough that you could, you know, if we gave them half a mile of road, what would it really mean?
Right.
What could they get done in comparison to the way we've always done it with going out and, I was looking online, cause I was just curious, trying to figure out what type of different mowers there are to put on a tractor or whatever. There is some interesting attachments to get, but
Yeah,
you still got it, you gotta deal with it afterwards,
that's right.
you know?
Part of it's the piecemeal approach to paving too. I mean, we got a piece of Sangerville that we're gonna do, and we may do it this year. There's some areas there that should be pushed back, and you should do that before you pave it. But those themselves are big projects. So you typically, you finally get enough money to pave it, you don't wanna spend 50 grand pushing ditches back.
Yeah, yeah.
But you've gotta eventually, you know, what, if we pave it, we're not gonna touch that for 10 years over there.
I mean, if you pave it, then you ain't get your ditches back where they're going.
Yeah, you're undermining your
You're gonna
pavement.
lose your pavement.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
wasting pavement.
So, you know, maybe we should really assess
And
that.
we've done that in the past. We've paved areas, never prepped them, and
Ugh.
it's gonna come back and haunt you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a waste of money.
And I know on McFeeters, again, I drive that every day, there's some massive tree branches that are really extending out over, and honestly, they scare me. They're big, and the trees are going this way, and these branches are coming out this way over the road.
I don't
And
know if you
I mean,
noticed that one of them was split right up the middle.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So what are we gonna do about those? I mean, first of all, you don't wanna have brand new pavement and then one of those massive things come down and go punch the pavement right through, right?
Well, it's back into your, how wide your road, if it's our tree, you can solve the problem at the stump, but a lot of the problem when you get up into that, you know, if you come over my way where it's all woods and you start cutting those trees, nobody's gonna care. But,
Yeah, but these are branches that are extended out.
oh,
into-
the branch itself, you can take that off, I mean, the real
But
thing
they're
to do
huge, I
is.
mean, they're big, I mean, that's gonna take an angstrom to come and
Sure.
get those,
Yeah.
you know? And that all wants to be done before we do the road. Yes, that thing scares,
Yeah. I hate even driving under it.
same here, I lost a family member who got killed by a tree, so I've got a very healthy fear
Yeah.
of trees.
We lost a young girl in town a few years ago right on Doty Hill Road, doing a big thunderstorm.
Yep, so it gives me the heat, every time I drive under that thing.
Yep.
So,
But that's just a matter of calling the right people
Right.
and having them take it down.
Yeah, I mean, actually, doesn't matter if it's new pavement or not, if we
Right.
get that type of situation.
If Seth's got the money,
Correct.
he can do
Right.
Yep.
it. It's a matter of getting the budget lined up so he can have that
Yeah,
flexibility.
yeah,
But something like that, if your road commissioner came to the board and said,
it needs to
I
be done.
got concerns,
Yeah.
well, and I think we could say, do it.
Yeah, right.
I've got an excavator that's got a brand new mirror sitting on the bench in my garage. $100 a whack, and every time I moved it, I had to buy a new one. So now it don't have no mirror on it. The mirror's brand new, sits in the garage.
That's
So if I get
perfect.
out on the road and need that mirror, I'll put it on before it moves, I take it off again.
Yeah.
Because the limbs just
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
break it, on all of the roads, not only
Not just.
Sangerville, Dover, Guilford, all of them.
yeah,
The
Yeah.
branches are right up there.
yeah.
And how big trucks and mirrors, you have to steer out around them.
Big trucks. I gotta steal my Jeep around some of the roads.
Yeah.
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 I lost windshields plowing, and that same thing,
Sure.
kinda gotta stay over and keep your bank over and them things just smacking right against the window.
Well,
Especially
Chris
when
was
the-
saying the same thing.
Yeah,
Smoke
yeah,
weighting them down.
Yes, especially, yeah.
Yeah, Warren's complained and Chris complained about
yeah,
that
yeah.
all the time.
Mhm.
But they would work with you and show you the hazard places and stuff and,
Right,
Yeah, well, you know, if you're the guy who plows the roads, you know the roads better than anybody.
yeah,
yeah.
You know what needs to go.
yeah. Yeah, that does help.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in, and I would say that we'll think about, you know, what we have to think about and ask you to do the same, and
Absolutely.
who knows, maybe there's something there.
Yeah. Yep.
If nothing else, we get to meet each other. I know you already do work for us sometimes, so.
Yep.
Never had a complaint, so.
That's right, and also just know how it works in Parkman and, you know, just exploring our possibilities here.
I would personally like the idea, if we're gonna go in 100% 180 direction of how we do something, if we're mirroring and using the same thing, at least it
Model.
should make it work a little,
Mm-hmm,
you know?
mm-hmm.
There should be some real synergies there. Like,
Right.
just being able to coordinate the same project for both towns might save both towns a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Right.
I know like when we paved on the other end of Silver's Mills, we did that with Dexter. I mean, we paved our section with Dexter. You worked with Dover when we did,
Oh,
we do
yeah.
some work down
Burroughs
there,
Road.
Burroughs
Yeah, yeah.
Road. We worked a little bit with Dover on that.
But if you've got maybe some specialized work, tree
Oh,
work, or
definitely.
brush work, if he says, gee, you know, I got this much in that town and this much, now that you're doing, you might get a better price for both towns.
Yeah. I sat right in this room and we had the opportunity to do that one year. There's gonna be a number of towns, this guy in Piper Pond was gonna be the engineer and the contractor to get the bids and stuff on the road. Gonna charge us $1 a ton, but he was gonna save more than $1 a ton on the bid because he had a bunch of towns.
Sure.
And what would happen, he would tell them when they could pave and when they couldn't pave and watchdog them and make sure they was putting down the required amount and stuff. So, being frugal as we are, we decided we didn't want to pay him $1
Oh,
a ton.
jeez.
So we started rowing the boat by ourselves in the wind and it capsized. They ended up paving the East Sangerville Road right in November. Before anybody knew what was going on, they had gone from Dover's End clear to the Dowdy Hill Road on one side. So what are you gonna do? You've got to pave the other side.
Yeah, that's what we don't.
And, so I mean, a lot of times
Yeah.
they shoot themselves in the
Yeah.
foot
Yeah,
in this town
Well, I think we've all proven that saving the dollar is not always the best.
no,
Well, sometimes it's not even saving.
No,
Sometimes it
yeah.
actually costs you.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
we've all seen it, and not only in roads, but in every aspect of every part of what we do. We don't always go with that cheaper line.
That's right.
Yeah, but when you save $1, you gotta figure it 2 or 3 different ways. Maybe the initial cost is gonna be a little bit more, but 3 or 4 years down the road, your return's gonna go back in.
Well, we learned just the basics of paving, you know, adding an extra half inch might double the strength of your paving.
Oh, definitely.
So if you're gonna do it,
yeah.
maybe you ought to add, you know, that
Yeah.
half inch. Because now it'll take twice as much truck traffic as it would have, or something like
Right.
that. It's quite,
Or just like shimming and paving. If you put that much shim in a rot, and then you overlay it, you're strengthening that road base. But if you take up 3 or 4 inches of hot top, grind it, and only put 2 back,
Huh,
what are you doing with it? You ain't changed the road base.
right,
And you
right,
broke up the structure that you had to start with.
yeah.
I watched when, they had an experiment, the state aid, down on my road, there's a section by Toby's that they took the hot top up in by Lance's garage. And then down the swamp, down my way, they left the hot top on and widened it out, put a foot of gravel on and widened the shoulders out. And the section down in the swamp turned out where they widened, left the existing road and widened it, ended up better than the section they took a D8 and peeled up all the hot top. Because they broke that structure up.
right, right. Cause we don't have a real road bed under there.
No, we don't. So that's why you shim and pave it, even on them deep rods. If you shimmed them in with a fairly coarse mix, and then another year, if you wanted to pave and overlay, you just put a quick shim on and an overlay, and you've got, in them weak places, you've got a good 6-8 inches of
Yep.
structure.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yep.
That was-
I gotta go see who's calling me.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Tony.
We'll see ya.
Okay,
Yeah, John.
all right, well,
You guys have anything else?
no, I think we're good. We don't wanna keep you from your work.
Yeah.
If you have any questions,
Yeah.
just direct them to Lois and she'll get them to us and we'll all communicate and, like I said, think about it and we'll think about the next steps and
Right.
go from there. Appreciate your time.
Yep.
Absolutely. What do you have for a list over there?
Gail made a motion. to
Oh,
adjourn.
second.
Those in favor? Unanimous? We are adjourned.